Here we go.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Fast Charging with B&B. I'm Brian.
I'm Bear.
And we are fast charging. My friends, we've got a lot of stuff to cover today in this special Yule Week edition. Oh, what fun we have. What are we going to talk about this week, Bear?
We got a whole slew of things to talk about. Everything from a couple new cars, a couple new deliveries coming out with different... there's at least 3 companies that are now delivering vehicles that they weren't last week.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say that. Some of them are new deliveries, as in never before delivered, and others are continuation of deliveries. So we're going to be talking about that.
And others are just announcements of products. I mean, we got some good stuff.
Yeah, and then we got some bad stuff.
Yeah.
With some people doing bad things.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that too.
That's a thing that happens. Why don't we jump right into the, bad news. Michigan,
the bad news.
Manchin's vote may pull plug on Biden's EV tax credit proposal. This is already a couple days old, and it's not going good, is what I'm saying.
No, it's not going to happen. My personal take on it is that I wanted to see the thing redone, and the only way that it was going to be redone if it's all pulled out. I don't like big bills pushed through Congress with 1,000 things in it that has a lot of little pork to make people vote for it. I'd like to see them bring this back in the new year just as an EV tax credit and not with all the fluff that goes along with it.
Right.
I'd like to see them take out the tax credit for the hybrids. I'd like to see them resolve that union thing where it's not there. Either everybody gets it or nobody gets it. I think that will satisfy a lot more senators.
Yeah.
And I definitely think there's things that they can do to improve that particular bill.
Yeah.
But of course, they won't just put that all in one bill called the EV tax credit proposal.
Why would they do that? Why would they do that? I don't know, man. It's frustrating, and I don't think this deserves a whole lot of time being talked about because, there's nothing we can do about it right now, and this will all pick up in terms of discussion, in the new year.
Well, Brian, there is one thing to say. The only vehicle that would qualify for this tax credit, the full $14 million per car tax credit, was the Chevy Bolt.
What?
Yes.
It's a wonderful, beautiful, and definitely available car.
Definitely available, but available in February because it has been delayed again. I feel like each week we are talking about the Bolt getting delayed. Each week it's another week, another month, another something, but the car is still not in production. And if it was, it would qualify for the entire EV credit.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And the beauty with it is they've still got a good 100,000 left to replace in terms of the old batteries, and that's going to be a real problem. The Hummer is in production. It is being delivered, and that's good, but they can't use these use different batteries. The Hummer uses their new Blade batteries, and these use the old flat pouch batteries, I think. Yeah.
By LG. And since every time we mention the Bolt LG batteries and how they burn up, I'm still waiting for LG to replace the batteries in my house because that's also been recalled.
It's very frustrating.
Not just the EVs.
It's very frustrating.
So at this rate, do you think we'll ever get to like half of all cars being EVs by like 2030?
It seems unlikely. Oh, look at that. Auto execs say more than half of U.S. cars will be EVs by 2030.
Oh, well, that's so weird.
That is weird.
That would have been the perfect segue had I known that was coming up.
Yeah, it's a good thing we don't practice
or plan.
Coordinate.
Yeah.
By the way, for those of you just tuning in, we are simulcasting on 2 different channels, and if I may say so, 2 of the best channels, a Bear's Workshop and a My Tesla Weekend. You can check us out on either one. We've both got links in the description to the other. It is a lot of fun.
Yes, it is. And we do this every week at Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific.
That's right. That's right.
Damn time changes screw me up every time.
Yeah, see, he's in a state that doesn't follow that madness. It's crazy. Why are we still doing this?
Why is the rest of the country still doing it? It makes no sense.
Half of the cars will be EVs. Do you believe that? What's your take?
I believe at least half of them will be. If we're just talking about cars. But then again, are we talking about hybrids and plug-ins? Because those aren't EVs in my opinion.
Well, here's my take is that ignore hybrids for a moment. There are a lot of companies that are finally getting serious about this. You do have, the startups, but the legacy guys, Volkswagen is going to be moving some units. Porsche's moving some units. It's a smaller company. Chevy, Ford, they're all those two are getting into it. But just look at the numbers that Tesla's doing with the Cybertruck coming, with a potential $25,000 model, which will never be $25,000. Tesla alone is going to make up a substantial portion of it, is my belief.
I agree with that. By 2030, they're going to have some other models out that they haven't even announced yet, besides the ones that they still need to get out that they have announced several years ago. I definitely think they're going to have a large portion of that market, and that portion will go down as time goes on, as people have more choices. People will be loyal to their brand name.
Well, you can't remain at 90% market share.
No.
I mean, that's
the
just
spin
not
on it. The spin on it from the MSM is just going to be that Tesla's losing market share.
Yeah.
But it won't be, because they'll be gaining market share but also losing it. But the spin will be that they're losing. That's how it'll play out in the media.
Yeah. Let's take a minute and look at our chats. JJE did notice that we started a little bit late. We were actually trying to pull up something that I think you would like. And Bear's got it, and I am still struggling, but we'll get there. Hockey Day, Merry Christmas, everyone. Let's see. Happy Festivus. We're getting a lot of Festivus wishes, which is wonderful. It is the time of the year. Seems like the U.S. has conceded to China. China's laughing all the way to the bank. I believe the Bank of China. Happy holidays. Let's see. I got a nice hat compliment, unless they meant you.
No, well, there's a good chance that they did. I couldn't find a hat, so I hung a stocking up behind me.
Very holly and jolly. I like it. I had
to do something. I've got Stephen St. Peter says that his 3-year-old daughter is doing her own footage with her Matchbox cars in buildings. You have competition with her own little drone camera. That's kind of cool.
That's
3 years old. You know what? Sometimes when I fly, the footage.
I'll step in while you're taking your drink of water there. Francis is saying, I'll go half of all cars will be EVs by 2024. And another great comment is, I'd rather see a tiered approach with $500 for a hybrid that's a plug-in, $4,000 for a BEV, and put in an income cutoff at $100K. That would be more fair. And I think Jeff Songster, by 2025, it will all be over. Tesla and the best of the rest, mostly from China, will have supplanted the old guard with robocars probably, that are 20 times safer than the previous cars. I'm getting a question. Is that an electric sock you have hanging from the wall? Of course it is. And by the way, this hat is it's more than meets the eye. It comes at you in waves. You'll get more later. Let's see. Yeah, so on your chat, you can let me know when you're feeling better there. It was that Stephen St. Peter Jr., her own little drone camera. And I think that's a fun thing. As kids, we always copy TV, and her TV is got drone footage of Lucid and Nikola on it. So she's getting in on the game. Let's see.
Americans just about back.
JJE says on your channel, there won't be Americans will not give up their diesel and gas for a variety of useless reasons. And it is, tradition is tough. There are, even people who like new things, even early adopters, still have things about which they're traditional. For example, I'm wearing a Christmas hat. Although to my credit, it is 51 degrees in here, so it's kind of functional. Kind of functional. Let me know when you're feeling better. Elon, Hockey Day, Elon giving lessons on how to do a haircut for Christmas. And that's a gift for everyone. That's a gift you give yourself by not spending money. It's you saved you time, saves you cash, and you get to look like the richest man alive.
When you are the richest man alive, you can cut your hair any way you want.
That's true.
Yeah. I am recovering.
Yeah. Should we? Are you prepared to move on?
Yeah. Well,
So-
I'll talk my way out of it.
Well, Nio's new ET5 EV rivals the Model 3 with a claimed 620-mile range. Now, mind you, that is on the Chinese test cycle, which is the most forgiving. What does that look like there?
It really looks like a Model 3. They've done a great job in just stealing everything that they possibly could, except for the range. If they can get anywhere close to that, it's going to be a fantastic car. I mean, it looks good. It looks like it's a Model 3 in another color with different headlights.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a good copy. Well, it looks like a good copy. That's probably CGI. Somebody probably drew that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, probably. But,
Yeah.
I think the cars that they've got coming out they've got a lot of promise behind them, but there are also a lot of promises we actually have to see them.
Yes. And even their ET7, which I pulled up a picture of here, is not quite, still not out yet. And yeah, that definitely looks like a cross between an S, a 3, and a Lucid.
Yeah, that's like a threesome that they had one baby and nobody knows who the father is. Yes.
All right, that is a picture that is now in my head.
Good. It should stay there for a while.
This isn't on our list, but I don't know if you know, Tesla today posted a video with instructions on how to assemble your CyberQuad Jr.
Speaking of, I haven't gotten mine yet, and I know that some people have. I've also seen them on Facebook Marketplace already for $4,000.
Great.
So I might take a spin around the block and then sell it.
Right?
It almost sounds like a really good investment. But I'm still waiting on mine. I looked earlier today, and there's no word on delivery. So I'm just waiting, but I'm going to have a video on my CyberQuad when it shows up, and hopefully it won't be of me like falling off of it, but that is possible.
It is very possible. Jeff Songster
Yeah.
pointed out, cute talking ball rotating about in a completely non-distracting way. Yeah.
King Ball. Is he talking about your hat?
Yeah. Oh, come on, Bear. And by the way, it looks so dark in here. It's not. It's because the hat is picking up all the light and the camera's adjusting.
I think you have the mood lighting turned on.
That's what it is. All right. So, should we move on to?
Yes, we should.
Rivian warns supply issues to hit production. Shares drop to record low. Boy, the quarterly numbers, I covered this on my live stream last Friday. It's painful. Their OPEX, their operating expenses, are already at about half of what Tesla's are, while making a couple hundred cars a quarter rather than, hundreds of thousands. That's a shocking burn.
It is. It really worries me that they're going to have supply issues this early. These things should have been laid out a long time ago. Lucid said they're going to have supply issues 6 months before they started production, and then change their promises. That was it was a long. It's not great, but it was a heads up long time before production actually started. For Rivian to start production and go, oh, look at that, we're missing a screw. It's going to take 6 months to come in. I mean, it's a little late for that. You should have had that kind of lined up a little bit sooner, I think. That's
Yeah.
just my opinion of that.
Yeah.
So,
And they're below IPO-ish. I know there were some
yes,
investors
yes and no.
there were some investors who managed to get in a little bit below that.
Yeah. 78, I think, was the number. 78 or 76 was what it was originally for the early investors. So for those people, and that includes Amazon and Ford, they're still in the money on that.
Jeff Songster says Tesla Berlin has already made more cars than Rivian. Not quite. Their permit only allowed them to make, I think, 10 or 20, but within a couple days of being open, they will eclipse Rivian.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's to be expected.
Yeah.
But Rivian needs to get that supply issue taken care of because they knew they were building cars for the last 10 years. You know, I hope that it's not a screw or a mirror or a steering wheel that they're missing. But they need to get that taken care of in order to ramp up, and they need to start ramping up because they're getting a lot of orders. Of orders. They're at 71,000 pre-orders on the R1 right now, and that's quite a few.
It is. It's more. It's
for a startup, you know.
Yeah. Along the lines of Rivian, this was posted on Reddit. Somebody spotted one of the Rivian Amazon electric delivery vans in the wild with, it's got the Amazon blue, but it does not have any Amazon markings. And this clearly has been fairly well loved on the road. You can tell by how filthy it is, which is a good sign. I really think Rivian should have started with the delivery trucks, get thousands of those out on the road, have that ramped and going, and then go public. I really think they just did it backwards. What do I know?
I disagree because I think had they done it, I don't think they would have gotten what they got for all those shares.
I think they would have had a much more forgiving first customer, and with them going to Amazon would absolutely be willing to overlook a lot of headache on account of their 20% stake in the company.
Yeah. I think they got all the money that they could possibly have out of the IPO. So I think as far as that goes, that worked out. But yeah, you're right. They would have more forgiving customers. But, you know, the people who are first in line, they've waited a long time. And the people who are at the back of the line are not going to wait as long as the people at the beginning of the line.
So,
just because.
Popping back into comments real quick. No, they meant the Nio Dashboard ball. So that's distracting. Although, I don't know, man.
The Nio Dashboard
I thought the
ball.
hat was getting some love. Guess I don't know you guys that well after all. Tesla Berlin, they're saying...
Wait, what's the Nio Dashboard ball? What are we talking about?
Go back and look.
I am. Was it on the ET7? Because I don't see a dashboard ball. I can't even say that.
It's probably on an article that we don't see.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Great.
Yeah, I don't know.
Glad I'm keeping up.
So there is also a comment. Jeff Songster, 250 reported. Do you mean in Berlin? Because that'd be pretty fantastic news if that's the case. Curious if Rivian's problem is battery supply or pack assembly issues. That is my guess. Because
That's
anything else you could fly in as
It
needed.
should not be. It should not be.
Well, I agree it shouldn't be, but it would make sense. Mm-hmm. Rivian clearly needed the cash. Maybe.
Yeah, they did.
Well, they could have always gone back to Amazon. They could have done private funding rounds, I'm confident.
That's true. That's true. JJ's asking me if I'm going for round 2 of COVID. No. I just sometimes have a chronic cough and it comes up. And when it does, it takes me a minute or two. So fortunately, it wasn't like during one of my solo live streams, because that would be weird.
And I was prepared for it.
Yes.
I had been advised in advance to be prepared for such a thing. They're saying 240 have been produced at Giga Berlin. Fantastic. Let's get them permits approved, boys. We need to keep rolling ahead here, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Kyle does say, I wonder what percent of the revenue will Nikola take in the first years. Tesla currently takes 30%. If we're talking about sales, I think we're looking at two different categories, cars versus trucks. The article that we were talking about was regarding cars.
Unless, I think Kyle might mean, what will the margins be? And on early production, the margins are generally zero or negative, regardless of the vehicle, because the efficiencies aren't in place yet. They can't be. They're doing it for the first time. And I wouldn't worry about revenue. If you're losing 20% per vehicle, but you're only selling 1,000 or 2,000 vehicles, it's not going to kill you. So,
not yet.
Yeah. Okay. What do you got? What do you think about charging? Could you jumpstart me, man?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's more of a gimmick. The whole thing with the EV to EV charging is if one vehicle needs a charge, it can go up to another one. I think the times that's going to happen is pretty low.
There was a video I saw this week that was fantastic. It was, what's his name? Out of Spec Motoring. They had two cars, a Tesla and something else, and they were doing this road trip over the mountains. And there was one charger at the top. They get there, it's out of order. It's a charge point. It's been out for years, and he's at 0. So they towed him with the BMW hybrid, got him up to 8-9% battery by towing, and then he could make it to the next charge, which is a case where you could use that.
Okay, yeah, that is a case. My thing is, I think the other features of having these power packs on these vehicles to run tools, to run your house, I think that's going to be more of an advantage than to actually charging a car up.
Yeah.
It says at the bottom of I think this article or another one that AAA had actually. Here we go. A decade ago, AAA started investing in trucks that could provide emergency charging to EVs, expecting that amid reports of range anxiety, it would be a popular service. But they found, surprisingly, that EV owners seldom get stranded. With this casual way to gain a few miles from another EV, an extra little bit of flexibility might go a long way. So AAA found that it did not work out having charging trucks roaming the state, trying to get people back on the road. I have a feeling people run out of gas more often than they would run out of electricity. I think people are just more conscious of it and they're more aware of it. Not only that, the cars nowadays are like if I'm on a road trip and I'm taking my Tesla somewhere and I'm driving too fast and I'm using too much range, it's going to tell me you need to slow down to 65 miles per hour or you're not going to make it.
Right.
And you're more aware of it. Whereas your car, you're usually sitting there and the light comes on. There's 50 miles to empty. You better look out. And then you push the button and you don't look at it anymore and you're not paying attention, and then you slow down because your car turned off and you're on the side of the road. But the EV cars are just making you so much more aware that you've got range limitations and what you can do about it in order to make it to your destination, like slow down.
Right.
Of course, you will run into there's no charger that is working here. That can happen. And like the situation that you described. But I don't see it happening as often as it does with people running out of gas. Just my 2 cents, but I think it's a valuable thing to have to plug into a house as backup power, or for running tools in a truck, or even when you've got kids in the car that need things, electronics and stuff like that. It's just to have those things. It is a good idea, and I wish the Teslas did have them.
Absolutely.
My 2 cents. Here we go.
Absolutely. So I think we kind of struggling on time. Interestingly, on the Ford Lightning, apparently we now know the battery sizes: 98 kilowatt hours for the standard range and 131 for the extended range. Those are big. 98
Yeah.
and 131.
Yeah, in the platinum trim comes with the 131. The extended range battery is in the platinum, and it still only has a range of 280. So I thought that they were going over 300 on that. So I'm scratching my head on that. I'm not really sure how these numbers are working out, or if they're not living up to the expectation that they thought. I'm also curious about the weight of this vehicle. This article mentions that it's bigger than a Rivian, but I know it's bigger in size,
Yes.
length, and
Yes, it's definitely bigger in size, which does contribute to the weight. And those are big packs. Packs are heavy. And the real takeaway is, it sounds like these packs may be essentially cannibalized from the other models. And if you're talking 131 kilowatt hours, that's 2 Mustang Mach-E's you're not going to be able to sell in favor of 1 Platinum Lightning.
I bet the markup on a Platinum Lightning is more
I agree.
than two
agree.
Mustangs.
And the demand, I think, is softening on the Mach-E. A lot of buyers are quite happy, but the enthusiasm just isn't there, and the dealership experience is awful.
Oh, is it?
Oh, is
Do
it?
tell.
Oh, it
Do
is.
tell.
Well, apparently, F-150 Lightning orders haven't even started, but the truck's markups are already here. So this is fun. This email came out from a dealership at Rodman Ford saying, yeah, if you want to actually get one, you're going to have to pay $5,000 over. Oh, and also, the first, let's see.
25.
Huh?
First 25 they sell.
Oh, yes. We'll get to that in just a second. But in addition, they're saying also you have to pay a massive deposit now. And then, of course, if you want to be among the first 25, or if you want to be among the first 25 orders, all you have to do is pay $30,000 to this dealership. And otherwise, you can wait and pay a $10,000 market adjustment. That's what it is, $10,000 market adjustment at this dealership with an additional $5,000 deposit now. And people and buyers are, it's like, why did I make a reservation? Why did I do this if you're going to do this to me?
Well, it was good to see that there was a follow-up on this article or on this post saying that they did complain to Ford, and Ford was apparently aware of which dealership it was, and they were able to get in touch with other dealerships and get their reservation in without having to pay this extra money.
Yeah.
Which, it's almost extortion. This is why the dealership model is failing, and this is why people hate going to dealerships.
Yeah. I've heard of people who've had good experiences with dealerships. I have had one good experience with one dealership, but it's rare, man. It's usually just the worst. Just the worst.
Yeah. I've worked at a dealership when I was younger, so I know some of the insights, and I know a lot of people have had little stints there, and I had a little stint. And I learned that everything that they do is for a reason. The reason they make you sit in a chair for hours just waiting on them is for a reason. It's just it's just part of wearing you down, getting you to the point where you just are either going to say yes or you're going to just walk out. And if you walk out, they can always backpedal and chase you down, and I've seen it.
And they do.
But they're just trying to wear you down, so that you're going to agree to something that you don't want to. They want you to get to the point, not that you're happy that you're getting a new car, but that you want to leave the dealership and you're at the point where you're going to agree to things and start making bad decisions in order to move the process along. Yeah. I've heard them say that. It's why we do this.
Yeah.
Is to wear people down.
Yeah.
And then there's things like this, which is just well, I'm not going to use any profanity, but fill in the blanks. It's this. It
is
stupid.
2 or 3 of those right off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Looking at the comments, let's see real quick. A good one I saw is, are those range numbers without additional weight? Now, I know at one point there was someone at Ford had said, oh, no, it's this is the range with a full load. But that was never said before, and I've never seen it as an official statement, and I find that claim strains credulity. It'll be interesting to see what the efficiency of those batteries are, and there was a little fun side game they're doing to keep themselves occupied. What is your favorite Elon quote? Digital Blade Canada, got you this time. Digital Blade Canada says, physics is the law. Anything else is a recommendation. Which I thought, when I saw that at first, I thought he was talking about the battery situation with the Ford Lightning. Because it's heavy. It's heavy. It's the difficulty of trying to make a new platform in an old platform.
Yes. Well, we have to move along because we're trying to get everything in today.
We really do.
And we have an article. We mentioned this company last week. It was BrightDrop, and about how that they were going to be shortly delivering vehicles. And here they are. They did it within a week. They have delivered some of their EV600s to FedEx. And FedEx has got a plan to be all carbon neutral by 2040. And at the same time, they're going to have 100% of their fleet for FedEx Express is going to be 100% EV by 2030. So they're moving right along. They've delivered the first couple of EVs. And these are the cargo vans that outperform the Rivian vans by almost double as far as range goes. So I'll be interested to see how this one works out, because 250 miles of range and the Rivians are 125 to 150. If
you keep the air conditioning off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's Rivians are 125 with the AC off. No HVAC system. Heat also. I guess the heat is the same thing. So this is going to be some really good competition for the Rivian trucks. And
you know why BrightDrop and GM were able to do this?
Tell me why, Brian.
Because you led, Mary, and it matters.
Yeah, how do we almost miss that? Well, this is our first GM article, really, isn't it? Yes. Without the help of Mary Barra leading the way,
Jeff even commented before I said that, you did it, Mary. You did it. Oh, we're at the halfway mark. Time to flip the hat's pom-pom to the other side. You got it, friend. You got it, buddy. The hat is now on the other side. I told you. The hat comes at you in waves.
Oh, I didn't know that was coming.
I know, because I hid it from you during the prep. All right. Amazon vans should be required to have a toilet. I can't do that. Can't do that.
Oh, why not? That was your excuse to take it off.
All right. I'll put a hat back on. Jeez. Giving me grief here.
Yeah. Well, Lockbird says truck ranges of just the cab aren't much either. They need to standardize on a payload weight for battery range. Yeah, they need to do something, but you know, these companies will never standardize on something that they can all agree on. There's always going to be this and that, and then they're going to cheat anyway. So when it comes, see, I'm not paying attention to him. I'm not looking at that screen, and oh my God, Did you have to take a pill for that?
Don't pay attention to the troublemaker. You'll only encourage him.
Maybe next week I'll do Hat Week.
Yeah.
No, I won't.
Yeah. So, who is this says, holy profanity. So, interesting about the EV transition. Norway's running out of gas-guzzling cars to tax.
That's good. One of the things I found interesting about this article is it takes forever to load on my screen, but there it is that this is going to happen here at some point.
Yeah.
Because there's so many taxes that are diverted away from EVs. There really needs to be some sort of plan. And I saw one of the things that they're doing is in Norway, they're starting to pull back the tax breaks on some certain things like plug-in hybrids and hybrids. And that's what they need to do here in the U.S. for the states that are giving tax breaks to consumers who buy EVs. is they need to start getting rid of anything that's a hybrid, and then the plug-in hybrids, and they need to have some sort of threshold where once there's a certain percentage of vehicles are EVs, that it needs to cut back the tax breaks. Otherwise, they're going to find themselves in a big ass pickle where they're not going to be able to find their way out, which is what Norway is struggling for, because now it's going to look like new taxes to people. But if you have a plan in place at the beginning, which they'll never do, there's no way that they will ahead of time. You could avert this disaster that's going to happen in the U.S. in about 10 years when all these tax breaks that they have for the EVs are going to be rolled back. So
the other problem is, a lot of EVs are given priority access to the HOV lane. Yes. And if every car can drive in the HOV lane, it's not an HOV lane anymore. It's no longer the express. It's just a lane. And that's also true of, allowing them into like London without having to pay the congestion surcharge. Yeah.
It's going to turn into that. When everybody's special, then nobody is special anymore.
Right. So. Right. Yep. But in the U.S., at least, many states are already taxing EVs at a higher rate, but not in Arizona, apparently.
Not here.
Yeah. So, boy, I feel like there's some other first delivery this week that we forgot to get to. I know we mentioned the Hummer. Boy, it's escaping me.
Yeah.
Probably should just skip it.
I'll just roll with that. Nikola delivered its first two semis to TTSI, which operates in the port of Long Beach, or Long Beach Port, whatever it's called, or the port of Los Angeles and Long Beach. And they have delivered two BEVs. We saw them. We caught pictures of them, not this past Monday, not yesterday, but the Monday before. We caught them being loaded up on trailers. They were delivered the next day on a Tuesday. They arrived there. And then they did some sort of official, they're yours, and handed them the key card or whatever they have. Now, these two trays, they have a range of 350 miles, and that is supposed to be on a fully loaded 40-ton trailer behind you. And you were talking about the Lightning and the size of their battery packs. The battery pack in this is 753 kilowatts. So that is roughly 9.8 times what is in a Model Y.
Yeah.
That is a lot of battery. Yeah. And you don't see it. It's very well hidden because it looks like a normal semi, except for the fact that it's a cab over. But otherwise, the entire battery pack is hidden down below. So they've done a good job of putting that all together and hiding a massive battery pack. And as far as speed goes, I think the maximum speed was 65 or 75 miles per hour.
It was 70 or 75. Let's see here.
75.
75. And I saw people complaining about that, but that's you should not be going faster than 75 in a loaded big rig or an empty one.
Yeah, and I don't think any states allow you to go over 75 in a big rig.
It's not that it couldn't do it. It's got the horsepower. I've heard tell of U-Hauls that were governed at like 60, 65, which is problematic. That's a little slow, but yeah. And the port is a great application for this, because driving around the port, I assume they're going to be doing short haul around the port. The likelihood of going over 350 miles in a day is quite low. And they'll probably never get over 45, 50 miles an hour, I would guess, which will increase efficiency due to a lack of aero resistance. Yeah.
Yes.
I am concerned with the slowness of the charging, but that's something that will be ironed out at some point.
Yeah. Well, one thing you got to keep in mind is you're charging a pack that's 10 times larger than what you would normally be charging.
Yes.
So, I know it said up to 2 hours to charge a 753 kilowatt battery. when it comes down to it, that is not that bad. When I'll stop for 20 minutes to charge when I'm doing a road trip on a supercharger, it takes 20 minutes. If I was to multiply that tenfold, I'm looking at 200 minutes, and I'm not. That would be a longer time that it would take then to charge up the truck. Now, these are not made for long haul. These are not made to go over the road. So it's not like, oh, I'm stopping to get gas, do my thing and head back down the road.
Right.
This is for the port, and they're going to charge overnight, and they'll be just fine in this application.
Well, and there are an awful lot of applications that are not long haul.
Yes.
Yeah. Think of all the factories and within 30 miles of the port of any of the ports, really.
Yes.
Yeah, there are enough for long haul. This would be, you couldn't do it. You just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But
the
your first vehicle does not have to be perfect. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good.
Yeah. The TTSI has a letter of intent with Nikola for a total of 30 BEVs and 70 of the FCEVs. So they are planning to use these in long-haul situations, and they are supposed to get another 2 FCEVs, and I'm not sure when that's going to happen since they're still supposedly in alpha, but they're supposed to get another 2 at the port so that they can test them there. Just the timeline on that is unclear right now.
Mm-hmm. But TTSI is I believe, the company managing the port. So you could easily have 100 trucks operating in the port. It'll be fine. And you don't need one vehicle that can be all things to all people. If they had one with 1,000-mile range, the port wouldn't want it. They would want something lighter and cheaper instead.
Of course.
So, yeah, I think that's... You know what? I think we are doing so good that we should go back to the comments. I've got me a super chat from let me see if I'm getting this right. Is that JJE? For we have not yet ever met.
Where has JJ been? I haven't heard from him since he told me to be safe a half hour ago.
Well, it wasn't an hour ago. It wasn't that long. Let's see. Even Paul Crowdis, even with all the crap that went on with Nikola, I do hope they are successful. Oh, yes, and that's right. In today's news, I sent you an email about this. They have to pay their investors from a $125 million fund. Aha. So I didn't read the whole article. How does $125 million compare to what was expected? I know they'd put something in reserves.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
The $125 million that Nikola has to pay for Trevor Milton's malfeasance.
Yes.
How does that compare with what was expected? I know they had put some money away.
That's what they put away was the $125 million.
So they probably had a very good idea that was a settlement that was going to be offered.
Yes. And I'm not sure if that's a settlement they're offering to Trevor or if that's what the SEC is going to be asking for Nikola for just letting him do the things that he did.
I think it's...
So,
again,
they could be two separate things.
Yeah. Well, and Trevor's troubles do not end with this, but I believe that Nikola is paying this, and I believe that this ends Nikola's chapter entirely on this matter. That is my understanding. If I am mistaken, correct me in the comments below.
I believe that you are correct, and that's the purpose of them setting aside that money. Mark Pachotnik, I'm sorry, I know I'm messing up your name. Tesla Semi adds 400 miles in 30 minutes with Megacharger. Yes, once they start producing them.
Yes.
And the time frame that Nikola is giving on this is using an Electrify America charging station. That is what they actually have at the Coolidge factory, is an Electrify America charging station. And we are going to try and get a better view of it tomorrow to see if we can actually see how many kilowatts is written on the label.
Ooh, that's right. You got the new drone. I forgot.
Yeah, we got the new drone, and we zoomed in, and we didn't realize what we were looking at, except we knew that we were looking at a charger, but we didn't know where to look. We just can't see it on the screen; it's too small. So we are going to try and zoom in and see what the kilowatt. It's either 250 or 350. We're just not sure. It's so blurry that it could have been a 2 or a 3. I got some other comments I want to address here. One of them was the letter of intent has requirements, and yes, of course it does, and that's from Lockbird. They have to like the trucks, and they're also waiting on some government funding. I can't say whether they're going to like it or not. I think that they will. I don't think that unless they find some issues that we're unaware of, and the government funding probably was part of that infrastructure bill, since that was separate from the other bill that was destroyed. And yes, Lockbird also agreed that that is separate from Milton. And Nikola is paying government. Nikola will pursue reimbursement from Trevor. That is correct. Also, that money is that they're spending. They have publicly stated that they're going to go after Trevor for a refund because of what he did. And JJ, I want to thank you for the super chat. That is always appreciated. And since you had a super chat, your comments definitely getting mentioned. Nikola finally has a completed SEC investigation under their belt. How many more till they catch up to Elon and Tesla? Well, that's a fair point. Tesla, Elon, they have had their number of SEC investigations also. So can't disagree with you on that, JJ. You are correct.
I can. The SEC is pretty trash. I think anybody who's a fan or a detractor of any company can agree with that, because their enforcement is so selective and arbitrary that it just kind of doesn't make sense sometimes. They do complete investigations. You remember it wasn't that long ago that there was a $20 million fine for Elon and Tesla for the 420 funding secured tweet. But yeah, I don't know what claims of fraud against Elon and Tesla still exist. The only complaint I routinely hear is that they said full self-driving would be complete by now. But that's what every company said, because if you get to 90% in a year and 99% in 2 years, you think, I'm 3-4 more years, we got this. That's what literally everyone in the industry thought. And, it is so far impossible. Did want to give a quick shout to Jeff for the super chat. Thank you so much. He says, happy holidays to all.
And happy holidays to you too, Jeff.
Tarek says Tesla already has a few trucks out there. I don't know if they're in customer hands or if they're just about to be. We do believe that Pepsi may be taking delivery any day, and we have seen the trucks out in testing in drone footage. Brian Rashetsky just showed up saying, hey, guys.
Hey, Brian, I see you're on my chat. I don't know.
Yeah, he's not on mine. I keep both chats open because I'm a professional.
Yes. Yeah,
but I don't have a
professional computer.
Quite another matter.
My computer couldn't handle it.
Yeah. You do get some lag there. SEC should go after corrupt Congress folk trades.
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't know if that's within their jurisdiction.
Insider trading?
Well, there are rules against it. Do you know what the penalty is for insider trading for Congress?
Death?
No. There is a penalty that already exists. It's a fee. It's a fine. How much is it? Go guess. Gimme.
$63.
$200.
$200?
Yeah. So I made $1 million. Here's the 200. Oh no, I won't do that again.
I think it was Sam Alexander just did a video where he was talking. It might have been him, and if I'm giving him credit where he doesn't deserve it, oh well. Just talking about a company that was out there that there was a big announcement coming, and it was coming out of Congress, and it was related to their company. But 2 days before that, suddenly the volume of shares for that company just starts flying up because there was so much activity, and the congressmen that were related to it suddenly made a bunch of money in that. I mean, that's complete insider trading, but that's what goes on in the SEC. Looks over there. While it happens.
So
They don't do
JJE,
anything about it.
thank you for the super chat. SEC is currently investigating Tesla, by the way. Yes, for solar roof issues.
And they're
At
investigating
most,
Lucid.
it'll be a fine equal to like a day's profit. So I don't think that's something that anyone's concerned about. I can't imagine it would result in much of anything. The SEC on the previous one really wanted Tesla to get held. You know, they were out for blood, and when they refused to negotiate in good faith, they went to court and said, "Your Honor, we have to take this to trial. We cannot reach an agreement." And the judge said, "Reach an agreement," and kick them out. And so basically, the SEC had to get real.
So Mr. C says, Bear, do you think Lucid will meet production goal of 520, and will they deliver by the end of the year? Now, I need to go back and look and find out if that was a production goal or if that was a delivery goal, because I have no doubt that they're going to reach the production goal of 520. I would bet money on it. There was a picture put out there well, let's take a look at the picture that we have, or you don't have. I'm sorry. Did that really happen?
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, that sucks. All right, so I put out a picture this was last Friday. 87 cars were in the waiting area. At least 16 of them were new. And that's new. When I say new, I mean from the day before, because we were out on Thursday, and there was 16 less. So we know at least 16 cars made it to the parking lot. And that was 16, I think it was like 16 more than the day before. So they'd made about 32 cars within those 2 days, at least 32, because this doesn't account for any cars that came out and then got on a car hauler and were taken away, or existing cars that were there were put on a car hauler and another one was put in its place. So we're seeing at least 16 cars a day. I heard some other rumors that they were able to do, the production line is able to do about 5 cars per hour, and they're shooting for 10 cars per hour. But that assumes that there's no stops in the production line. That's assuming that there's no supply issues, that there's not hold on, we got to stop for 2 hours to fix something that's broken. When they're running, they're doing 5 cars per hour. That's what I heard. I can't say for sure because it's just things that I hear. So take that all into account, and then we get this picture that was posted today. And I didn't take this picture. When I find the person who took it, I'm going to give him a talking to. So this picture was posted today. I'm not sure where it was. It was retweeted on Twitter. Someone asked me if I had done that, and I had not done this. Somebody had counted these, and I think they came up with like 144-ish cars. I'm trying to look through my pictures. My microphone's in the way. But there's somewhere in the 140 range of cars sitting in the parking lot. And I don't know if this was taken today, yesterday, but a lot of these cars appear to be the same cars that were, most of these cars, if not all, most of the cars that were there on Friday, the same cars that are sitting there now, plus an additional 50 or so. You can see on the left side of my screen, that's the one area, and this is the other area. There's 26 cars, I think, right here. So they're cranking them out right now. We're going to be going out there tomorrow. We're going to get another shot, and we'll get another car count tomorrow. And hopefully Brian will be, we'll have the picture then when I tweet it out. He'll be able to like it. But sorry for you guys on Brian's side. We just did not get these pictures sent to each other quick enough. So apologize for that.
I do have a couple super chats I need to address. JJE. So Tesla fraud equals good. Nikola fraud equals bad. Gotcha. So all things being in perspective, Nikola's fraud was the entire business at that point. It was fundamental to their operation. It was intrinsic. It wasn't a thing they did. It was who they were. And that's why Trevor was ousted. And that's why the settlement is so large compared to the revenues of the company. Whereas Tesla's is a question of, did they inform enough Walmart stores that they may need to de-energize their solar panels? The scale is not comparable. And who is this? Left a super chat for 420. I don't want to be left out. I get that. And I appreciate it.
Hello, who is this? Good to see you here. I've got some chats. Brian Rashevsky is talking about the oil companies don't want any of this happening. He thinks they're on a plan to slow this down as much as possible. I definitely think they want to slow this down as much as possible, because once oil only becomes a commodity that's needed to produce plastics and other things that we use, the demand for oil it's not going to be worth drilling 5 miles down into the bottom of the ocean to pull out that oil. So I think at that point, oil will be in a lot of trouble. And I could see them trying to do that. They've done a lot of devious things over the years. So,
well, and there's a lot of industries being disrupted. Oil, in the internal combustion manufacturers, the dealerships, and then look at other industries as well. Boeing is being disrupted by them. It was 94. Saw a stat today. By the way, SpaceX launched 3 rockets over the last few days. Two of them within 15 hours of each other. All 3 recovered successfully. 100 successful landings over the last 6 years. And I think it was 6 years to the day that they did their 100th landing. That's a big deal. They are disruptive.
Yeah. Well, I believe one of those rockets, one of those boosters, was the 11th time it was launched.
Correct.
Which they're only supposed to work for 10 times, and they got 11.
Well, it used to be 5, and then it was 7. And so what kind of customer wants to be the first one to fly an 11th used booster? Starlink. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
By the way, coming to you live on Starlink. Video about that coming out, 10 months ago. I never made it. I've got the footage still. It's just, I can't find a way to make it interesting. On my channel, I've got a bunch of hydrogen discussions, and I know I've been asked here and elsewhere why I don't cover hydrogen more and why I don't like it more. So today I spent probably 3 hours researching hydrogen, and I found a couple things. The first is that no matter how good a video is, nobody watches it. It's not a topic of particular interest. But the bottom line is the math doesn't work. Even if you could get green hydrogen, no, listen up. Don't you be shaking your head at me, young man. Even if you could get the financials to work, which would be very difficult, you're still using 2 to 3 times as much power to get the same energy to the wheels, which means more power plants, which means more energy used. So even if it's cheaper, you're using more energy. Now in Arizona, where they're getting that 2.7 cents, what does your power come from? Do you know?
Comes from a lot of different places.
Yes.
Hydro is one of them. Solar is one. We have a nuclear power plant. Mm-hmm. I don't know where we have coal plants in Arizona, if we have any.
Would it surprise you to know that coal is your number one source of power at 38%, followed by natural gas at 24%? So if you get that cheap hydrogen, it's coming from mostly coal and natural gas.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you right up front, I got a lot of natural gas.
That's something that can be worked on.
Yeah, but I'm recycling it, so it's worth it. Where are there coal plants in Arizona?
Couldn't tell you, but I found the numbers on Sun Valley Solar Solutions. So maybe they're a biased source.
Maybe, but I can be pretty sure I've never seen a coal plant in Arizona, and I've been all over this state, not everywhere, and it's easy that I couldn't miss them. But I know a large majority of the power comes from hydro. We've got the Hoover Dam. We get a significant portion of that power off of there, and there's other dams throughout Arizona that they've built for the purpose of hydropower. Roosevelt Dam is just outside of the Phoenix area, and that is hydropower there. And there are several other dams along that chain.
So I'm looking at the energy what is this? The Independent Statistics and the U.S. Energy Information, the .gov site, and it's showing huge amounts of coal and natural gas. So it goes in 2019. It was natural gas first, then nuclear, then coal, and quite a bit of distillate fuel oil and jet fuel. So that must be, I don't know, dude. Jet fuel. Maybe that's for the peaker turbines. I don't know.
Not sure. So in 2019, coal was third on the list?
Yes, sir.
What happened to it being first? I mean,
well, I don't know. It could be a different year.
Well, they're not building coal plants.
No. I mean, it may have gone down. The number I said before could have been out of date. Could have been more out of date.
You mean like maybe this Sun Valley Collective thing took some numbers from like 1973?
You didn't see the site. It doesn't look like the sort of thing that they would update very often.
Okay.
I mean, we're not talking GeoCities, but... So, guys, in the comments, in the chat, you got to give us your questions and all that. In a second here, I'm going to have you cover your comments. But real quick, a reminder, this insanity is simulcast live at Bear's Workshop and...
2 channels.
And on My Tesla Weekend, Bear did hit his big goal of 10,000 subs before the end of the year, and he's climbing fast. So, I mean, cool. And now we're racing to 15. I've got a head start, but my gosh, is it going slow? And, I don't know. We'll see, man.
Root for the underdog. Give me a little bit of support if you could. I would appreciate that. JJ wants to know if we can do a flyover at the port witnessing the BEVs in action. You know, I'd love to do that, but I would lose my pilot's license. That is not legal. Not legal to fly over ports. Yeah. It's considered an critical infrastructure and not going to happen. Can't even get permission for it. That's a no-fly zone by the FAA, not by Lucid.
Now that you mention it, all the stock footage I've seen of ports has always been clearly from the perspective of what I'd call a helicopter and that kind of distance. Although I know in Wu Wa's channel in Shanghai, he flies out over their port, but different rules.
Yeah, different country, but they'll just put him in a concentration camp, and that if they're not happy with what he does.
Yeah.
He'll be disappeared.
Jeff Songster wanted to say congrats to Bear. Oh, and Paul Crowdis wants to know, what's in your stocking?
I don't know. I grabbed it from the tree. And
oh, so it does have something in it?
I don't know.
No?
Nope, that's empty. No. Could have been a good surprise for somebody.
You know what's in my hat? A human head.
Not hair.
Not hair. Just 4 strands, my friend. 4 strands, all real.
Just like Charlie Brown. It's cute.
Yeah. Now, of course, the camera rebalances the lighting, so now I look all pasty and it's bright again.
All right, Brian, I can't read Lockbird's comment. I'm going to let you read that.
If Bear's Workshop married My Tesla Weekend, it would be Bear's Weekend. Oh, dear. Yeah. That's...
That tasted like earwax.
Yes. Let's see.
Ryan says, well, you can do it. Doesn't mean Sky Police will get you, but probably not a great idea if you want to keep flying.
Right.
Yeah, but the thing is with that, Brian, and I know you know this because I know you have your license, is that if you publish that video, you're now just shown everyone your crime. Right. And it'll be very easy to get you. So
I do not.
No
point you're talking to that, Brian. Gotcha.
Oh,
who is this?
Not
asked,
you, Brian.
Will there be a Friday show this week? Because that would be Christmas Eve at 7 p.m. And I haven't decided, but I kind of think so. I kind of think just do a real super casual one. Maybe put in some crazy stuff that I wouldn't expect anybody to see. I think maybe. I haven't decided. Anybody carry the way? Would anybody even be around at 7 p.m. Pacific on Christmas Eve? Could be lonely, but that also lowers the stress level, so I wouldn't mind. Anything you want to get to?
I think it's more stressful when there's nobody there.
Because we are at 66 minutes, and we should probably thank our Patreons.
Yes, we should. But Lockbird said GeoCities. And by the way, you said that, and it took me like 5 seconds to register what GeoCities was, because that's something I haven't heard of in 20 years. And for all you young kids out there, we ain't telling you what GeoCities is. Not at all. But yeah, Lockbird, you just showed your age too. But yeah, I knew what that was after a moment of thinking about it. Fendi says, hello, Bear. Just out of curiosity, do you do programming? You're looking at typical back-end developers at my company. No, I don't do programming. I just, I'm living my life like I want to these days, and I wear what I want to, and I dress where I want to. Until my wife says, no, and then I'll have to change or something. But yeah, no, I'm not some guy who lives in their mom's basement and just sits there and typing code in. I would not understand the Matrix at all if I was there. Anyway, Brian, what do you got?
Oh, I just wanted to... I mean, I've got a couple comments. Paul saying I should take Friday off because I deserve it. I don't know. I haven't been that good this year. We'll see. Merry Christmas and all. JJ says we owe him time for being late. We are already 7 minutes over, and we were only like a minute and a half late. But we're still going here. AOL, computer error. CompuServe. Yeah. So I think I did want to say a quick thanks to my Patreons who get early access, bonus content, and ad-free experience. And coming up soon, very soon, my 11-year production estimate. It's going to be wild. And I've already explained it on Patreon to my Patreons, but it's hidden. It's very, very cool. And the details will be out in a few days. It's amazing. And for those of you who don't know, nobody beats Brian on production estimates. Not Wall Street, not the Twitter guys, not YouTube. One quarter, Q2, I was off by 91 cars. Out of like 170,000, I was off by 91 cars. And you'd be surprised. Bear knows. You remember how many interviews I got for that?
None.
0? None.
Yeah,
nobody cared.
Yeah. I guess that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got that one. It was discouraging, but my fans love it.
Well, you know what? Now that you're like a big shot on YouTube, I think maybe someone will pay some attention to you now.
Oh yeah, big shot.
You need to nail it. You need to nail it this time.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about within 90 cars or 100 cars. I'm talking about nailing it. Get it right on the bullseye.
On the deliveries last quarter, I was off by 0.2%, making me 3,500% more accurate than the Wall Street consensus.
You know what? I could probably be more accurate than them with a dartboard. So
Jeff thinks I have ESP. I don't, but I am a time traveler. So it's kind of cheating, but, you know.
Oh, no, that's not cheating. If you can travel through time, you can do whatever the hell you want. That's not cheating.
I know.
You earned it.
Well, I know.
You earned it.
Okay.
Are you recording Nikola site on Christmas Eve? JJ wanted to know. We probably are.
And you know what you can do, Bear? I was going to mention, if you go on Christmas Eve or day or morning, you don't even need the Zoom. Just fly right up to the charge point and look at it.
Yeah. Well, I could just walk with my feet.
That's true. That's true.
I can get past security there, but I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Any other comments here? Let's see. Brian mentioned that the port is probably geofenced, and he is correct.
Oh yeah.
They probably are. The drones know where they're not allowed to go anymore, which, by the way, never happens at Lucid for some strange reason. But there are airports that if you try and fly, the geofencing will prohibit you from flying. And Mr. C says Arizona has 16 operating coal-fired power units at 6 locations, totaling 5,681 megawatts. All right. Well, that doesn't sound like a lot of megawatts to me, honestly. Actually, that's 5.6 gigawatts. Still, Arizona uses a whole lot more than that, I'm sure. You guys are best to watch B&B T-shirts. Yeah,
because what you need in your life is more of this.
Yeah. So, whose face is on the front and who's on the back, or should we just do underwear? I don't know.
I could be on the back and it could say Brian's back, and then it would say Bears front. That's not right. So I think we got to wrap this up. And,
All right. I think we do. I want to thank everyone who came here to see me on Bear's Workshop and Brian on my Tesla weekend for our 8th episode of Fast Charging with B&B.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys being here. Yeah. I appreciate all my patrons and everybody who's given us super chats today. I want to send out another thanks to you guys. We appreciate you guys coming and watching, and we will be back next week, Tuesday, 4 p.m. Pacific time. Anything you want to add, Brian?
I think you wrapped it up nicely. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas to all you good folks. Thank you for an amazing year for both of our channels and, just generally. You guys are awesome, and I appreciate that.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. We'll see you